Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to all. The lovely Saturday morning is not raining outside, and so we're going to continue our session with the topics of formulations, research problem in educational technology research. Okay. We can still hear people just keen join us this morning. Okay, let me share my screen. You can see my screen.
Yes, we can see you.
Okay, so let's continue. Okay, this topic is about formulation research problem in educational technology. So please concentrate on it and then be happy. We just done with Dr. Shafi'i sessions. And this is boot camp. You can chip in anytime if you would like to ask questions. I will actually share some of it on formulation of this problem in educational technology. So sometimes we just wondering, isn't it? In life, usually I think nobody like problems. People try to avoid problems. But when you do your PhD, you do your master research, master dissertation, master research, then you try to formulate research problem. You try to formulate problem so that you can solve your problem in your research. Okay, so quite odd, isn't it? But that's part of the when you join as a full research student. Okay, that is what you going through, finding a problem. Okay, today I will guide you how to find a research problem. Okay, so first of all, I would like you to remind yourself back. You have to say to yourself, I love my PhD research. Okay, anyone from the floor, if I can hear anyone who can say that, I love my PhD research. Okay,
I love my PhD research.
Oh, thank
I
you.
love my PhD research.
I love to.
I love my master.
Okay.
I love my master research.
Yes.
I love my master research.
Yeah. So by saying it to yourself on this, we hope that we will be surrounding with a positive charge, so that everything good will near to you. Okay. So you have to say every day. When you wake up in the morning, you have to say, I love to do my research. I would like to concentrate. And don't worry about it. No matter slow are you, no matter you don't compare yourself with others, because speed doesn't matter. Forward is forward. Okay, speed, it doesn't matter. Forward is forward. So just move forwards. Don't ever look behind it, and just move forward. And everything is possible in the world, and just continue to do your research. Okay, let us move. Okay, I give you a guideline first in preparing a research proposal. This is I believe a research proposal, how to prepare a research proposal. This is for PhD research proposal. So for the master research proposal, it's going to be less than this. Okay, for example, for the master project, your introduction might be just half of a page. So try to cut it 2/3 of this suggestion on preparing a PhD research proposal. So this is a flow of research proposal. So this is like a recipe. When you're going to cook something, like for example, might be after lunch, you try to cook carrot cake. You do not know how to cook a carrot cake, just Google it, and then you're going to get the guideline how to cook a carrot cake. So this is a guideline how to prepare a research proposal, chapter 1. I will give the slide later on to Dr. Nora Fendi so that you can get guidelines on how to prepare your research proposal. For master project, might be your research objectives might be going to be up to 3. It can be also 2. It's up to, because the master project, the scope is less than a master research and dissertation. This is a component of the rule, how you prepare your tool, okay? And it's a component of the project. So look at it. I just prepare one. It's quite simple actually. Okay. All these must come with a research problem. One problem you would like to tackle. Okay, so the research problem, there's so many definitions of research problem, but everybody knows that the most difficult aspect of research is formulating. You're formulating a clear, concise, and manageable research problem. Your research problem must be clear. When the examiner is going to ask it, this is my research problem. It must be concise. It can be explained in one sentence. Manageable. You can actually do research on it. And formulating research is in itself is a big problem, but don't worry. Take it as a challenge for you to find your research problem. And the problem is the heart of the research. If a thing is at the heart of the research, that's why you need to love it. You need to love it. You need to tell the problem, be good with me, be easy with me, okay? Because I will continue my research in this area. So the problem is the heart of the research, okay? Anyone have question? I can notice that Mr. Samon is trying to speak something because I can see that there's a voice come up from you. Anyone? Or you might be need to mute your mic, okay?
No, sorry. I forgot to mute my mic.
Because it will create interference, okay? Usually through the online learning, any interference might be as a speaker of the session, I assume that might be you would like to say something, okay? So the problem is the heart of the research, and you know that heart is a fragile. You need to love it. You need to take care of it, and you need to actually love it. Okay, that is why the problem is the heart of the research. Okay, and if there is no problem, there is no research. This is the first question the examiner will ask you during PhD. For master project, master dissertation, master project, you don't worry about it. Examiner, you don't have what you call it oral presentation session to defend your master's project. But what you're going to have is that when you done your research study number 1, master project part 1, you go for part 2, there will be examiner to rate your thesis to give marks. But for dissertations and masters and PhD, there will be an oral session. And the first question that will be asked by the examiner is that, what is your research problem? What the hell that you are doing this kind of research? They would like to know it. So that's why if there is no problem, there is no research. And how can you solve a problem if you don't know what the problem is? Okay, so that's why you have to be concise, to be clear on your research problem. Okay, so what is a research problem? There are so many definitions of research problem. This is 5 of it. Some says that research problem are questions or problem that the researcher want to answer. Some people say it's the issue, the main focus of your study. And the research problem can be a specific issue, difficulty, contradictions, or gap in knowledge that you will aim to address in your research. And it's the focus of the reason for engaging in your research. That's why when you already identify your research problem, stick with it. Okay? Based on my experience supervising students, okay, I hope this is not going to happen. It's not going to actually experienced by all our PG students who attend this morning session. If you keep changing your research topic, today research topic is different. Tomorrow you have another new research topic. A day after that you have another new research topic. If you keep changing your research topic or you keep changing your research problem, so you already send a signal to the supervisors that you're not going to finish on time. Okay, so that's why you have to be clear on your research problem, because the problem will engage you to solve it, to continue your master project and dissertation, research and PhD. And it's typically a topic, phenomenon or challenge that you are interested in. The word of interested in is so important there, which you are at least somewhat familiar. So you need to you must have interest to solve the problem. You must also familiar with the problem. Okay, for example, if you are a teacher, you must do your master project, dissertations, PhD research and master research related to your work, related to you as a teacher. If you're a special education teacher, so do research in the special education students, because you are the expert in that research. If you expert in might be teaching and learning science among Form 2 students, then go for it as the research topic that you would like to solve in your study. Don't focus on primary school. Focus on the one that put interest and you are familiar with. Okay? So, this problem consists of areas of concern, condition to be improved, difficulty to be eliminated, question seeking answer, an issue whereby there is a missing link. Okay, that is where you can get the problem. And the problem's not supposed to be, people say, a new problem. This is totally new problem. Nobody exploit. Okay, it's quite difficult to do research in that area. But if there is no other people explore it before this, you having problem later on for your literature review. And the problem also, it depends on the context. For example, might be in Malaysia, looking at the computer literacy. Computer literacy among the school teacher might be is a obsolete topic. Might be for Malaysia, we thought that if you're doing research related to computer literacy, it's totally obsolete because there are so many research has been done on this area. But if the topics of computer literacy is totally new in Nigeria, totally new in Yemen, totally new in China, is still relevant there, go ahead, because you are doing your PhD and master research in the context of your own country. So my computer literacy research among teachers for Nigeria is still relevant. Then go for it. For Malaysian, instead of concentrating on computer literacy, why not concentrating on what we call it today digital literacy? Digital literacy among teachers. Future ready teachers attribute. And that's a part of the research focus or research problem that you would like to explore. Later on, I give you, in this session, I add a bonus point in my session. I give some few topics, new topics, where you can just pick it and you can just say, oh, this is going to be my master project. I share it. I prepare a slide of it. Okay, why the research problem is important? Because it establishes the importance of the topic. Your research problem must align with your problem statement, must align with your research objective, must align with your literature review, must align with your methods, with your findings and the discussion of the findings. Okay, it must be moved in the straight line. Okay, that's why research problem is the heart of the research. It creates reader interest. It creates people to read the thesis. It creates examiner interest. It focuses the reader attention on how the study will add to the literature. And a research problem help you formulate that sequence. Or how to make it important. So how to find the research problems? Although some people say it's quite difficult to get a research problem, but I will give some tips and tricks to make it easier. Okay. So, research problems justification, you must actually justify why the research problem is important. You can justify it through literature review. You can justify it based on personal and workplace experience. You can justify also based on experience that others have had in the workplace. So this is how you justify it. Okay, if you have been teacher almost 25 years, then you teach special education children. You know very well about the problem in special education. So you can actually use the point number 2 to justify the research problem and support it by literature and support also through your preliminary investigation, because every research problem needs justification. Okay, this is a factors to choose a research problem. There are so many factors to consider it. First of all, your knowledge. What are your knowledge in the area? If this is totally new to you, yeah, it's going to be an interesting topic to explore. It's going to be an interesting new knowledge to cover. But you have to know that any new topic that's so totally aliens from your expertise, it will have, I think, high and very big challenges. So that's why I suggest to all of you, knowledge of the researcher, knowledge of you in the area. The topic or the research problem must actually has a little bit relation to the knowledge, your skill, your interest, your expertise, your motivation to do it, your creativity. The importance of the topic. The topic is still relevant in the context of your country or your situation. Practical, it's doable. The research problem is doable to solve it. Interesting. And if not, you're not going to love your PhD or your master research. Okay, I stop now for 1 minute. If there are any questions on these factors in choosing research problem, anyone would like to reflect on it? I would like to share on it, because I share the factors in selecting research problem. Anyone from the floor? Anyone? How to know if our topic is saturated or not? Karonisa is asking, how to know if our topic is saturated or not? How to know? Anyone would like to answer it? How to know? One thing that you have to remember, we did not actually make sure that our topic is saturated, because research problem not supposed to be saturated unless you are analyzing your qualitative data. You are analyzing your qualitative data, try to find the themes from the research finding. Yes, it must actually saturated. And in qualitative analysis, how do you know that the finding is saturated? The first respondent says that I actually might be, there's one, when you do a research, let's say you want to do a research on student perceptions on COVID-19. The first finding that you get from student A, it says that I love COVID-19 because the school closed earlier than I thought. Okay, that's one finding. Then the second student says that, oh, I'm so happy during COVID-19. I love COVID-19 because I have time with my family. I can actually, I can skip school. So it's already saturated, isn't it? 1, 2, they're happy. Already saturated with the 2 respondents. You might be going to ask the 3rd respondent. Okay. Yes. I feel so relaxed during COVID-19. I'm not stressed. I'm so happy. I have more time watching a TV. Okay. Then, with the three, respondent is saturated. So Karunisa is asking is that if our topic is saturated or not. It's not something about saturated, Karunisa. It's something that the topic is important, relevant, interesting to explore, need to be explored. There is a gap on it, and no such books explaining on the solution of the topic. Then it can be a research problem. Don't need to read it saturated. Some people says asking also, how many articles I should read so that I can get my research problem. Some people that say that you need to read up to 100 articles. Sorry, nonsense to read up to 100 articles to get your research problem. Sometimes you might be only read about one articles, a very comprehensive articles that review the previous research. This article review 100 previous research, and then from that only one article you can get your research problem. But to polish your research problem, to justify on the importance of research problem, then you might be need to read for a few articles that related to the research problem. Okay? I hope I answer you, Kairunisa. Anyone would like to chip in on it? Okay? Remember, to find a research problem is not so difficult. It's not so difficult. Don't ever say difficult. If you say difficult, yeah, it will be difficult to find a research problem. For me, research problem is kind of doable, and you can find it from readings. But you have to know the tips and tricks. From my session today, I give you tips and tricks. I also will give you some of new research problems that not been explored yet, even by my student or from other students. Then you can concentrate on it. I think from I have one diagram that I will share it later on. From that diagram, you can I prepare up to 60 research topics or research problem that you can do. For those who did not have a research problem yet, wait till the end of my session. Okay, I will share you some of the research problem and topic that you can concentrate on it. Okay, let's move. So resources for choosing a problem, where you must have resources for choosing a problem. First, I name it as working experience. Your working experience is a valuable information that nobody can actually deny on it. Your working experience will shut up the examiner voice or question during your viva. Okay, that's why when choose a research problem, you must choose something that related to your previous knowledge, your expertise. So working experience as a teachers, lecturers are valuable information. It's actually a tacit knowledge that you have. This is the thing that you need to justify on why you are choosing that problem. Beside that, to reconfirm, this is not saturated. You would like to find you would like to make sure that your research problem saturated. But to reconfirm your working experience. After 25 years teaching mathematics form 2, you're having problem to teach this topic. And you hate this topic. You try every methods, but it did not work. That's going to be your research problem based on your experience. But to reconfirm your research problem is important, and what we call it can be done as an academic research. Then you need to check it with the theories. Start to sit in front of your computer, Google it. Teachers having problem in teaching form 2 what topics in mathematics. Then you find a list of articles. Even you find the theories related to that teaching. Okay, that the problem. And beside theories, you're going to reconfirm the problems and your working experience with literature review. And also other resources that are not based on education. Other resources is something like you might be to have a chit chat with other teachers. Ask them, do you having problem to teach this topic in your class? And the teacher said, yes, I'm having problem also. I do not know why Johorian student did not understand this topic. Then you can see that the one that you having problem is going to be your research problem for your master's project, master dissertation, master research, or PhD research. Can you see that the research problem is near to you? It's inside you. Because it will started with your working experience and then you reconfirm it with theories. You reconfirm it with literature review. And you reconfirm it also with other resources. Okay, I think this part is very important. I really need a response from all of you. Okay, anyone would like to respond on it? Because the one that I explain right now, you cannot get it from books. You get it from experience. You get it from experience. Yeah, I will share, Azam, I will share the slide later on. Okay, don't worry about it. Okay, some people say that meta-analysis is essential. Yes, but I will mellow down a little bit on don't do a meta-analysis, do a critical analysis. Because meta-analysis is high level. Do a critical analysis. And I will show you how to do a critical analysis. Anyone would like to chip in, especially on the point that I've been explains that the research problem is in you, based on your working experience. That's why some of you might be, if you are fresh graduate is that meaning that you just graduated from your bachelor degree and you continue your research in master level. Yeah, you might be faced a little bit challenging situations to find your research problem because you don't have any working experience. Okay, but if you work as a teacher, as an educator, more than 10 years, I believe you are very experienced teachers, experienced researcher, then you must have the research problem is actually in you. Okay, anyone would like to chip in? Would like to say anything? I would like it to be two ways, not only me talking in front of the PG camps. Anyone? Keep quiet. And you know what? This is another research problem that we can explore. Having an online learning through WebEx, how to make sure students participate in the discussion. Can do one of the topic of research topic. Okay? This is also going to be a very interesting research topic. Interaction process of students through WebEx among Malaysian Form 2 students. That's going to be one research topic because it's really a problem. Or some says that they're worried because their place is actually heavy raining. My walls is actually not really smooth. Okay, anyone would like to chip in? Nobody. Okay, let us continue. Let us continue the topic. It's okay, Azam, if you're having problems to hear my voice smoothly, we actually record this video. We will share later on through the link that will be given by Dr. Fendi later on. Okay, this is a process of choosing the research problem. First, you have to self-check, and the information is quite similar with the previous slide. You have to self-check your experience, motivation, observation, logic assumption. Can I do research in this area? Okay, skill, knowledge, expertise. That's going to be your self-check. The second one, you do your reading. Search previous research articles. Start to read the academic articles. Checking the theories. How many articles to read? As I did mention, some people say that read up to 100 articles. No need to read up to hundreds of articles. Just read some articles. Read 1, read 2 articles, read 3, read 4, and then you realize it. Yeah, everybody says that this is really a problem in teaching and learning related to mathematics. Then I need to stop. I need to focus on this research problem. You do a comparison 1 versus 2. Compare your self-check Compare your self-check with your reading. Comparisons of 1 versus 2. So you compare your self-check information with the info that you get from your reading. Conclude on what idea you want to explore. And when you lock the idea, okay, go ahead. Don't ever change it. If you keep changing your research problem and research topic, oh my, you're not going to finish your study. So conclude on what the idea that you want to explore. And don't ever feel jealous on other people's research problem. Some students, they might be say that, oh my God, my research topic is not so interesting. Ahmad research topic is more interesting. Don't ever say that. You have to be bold enough to say that my research topic is very interesting because it's based on my experience after teaching mathematics almost 25 years. I face the problem. I've been reconfirmed this problem through my reading. The problem that I face is not only happened to me. It happened in other teachers in Nigeria, in UK, in US, but they are having the problems from different angle. I'm having it in my class from a different angle. Why? You have to remember why the research problem must be close to you. Because when you would like to collect data later on, it will go back to your job as a teacher, as a researcher. And this is why you have to make sure that it's aligned with your expertise, interest, motivation, and knowledge. Then the number 4, you will do reconfirmation by conducting a preliminary investigation. For master talk course, master dissertation, you did not need to do a preliminary investigation. I repeat, for master talk course, master dissertation, you did not need to do a preliminary investigation. And for master full research and PhD, you need to do a preliminary investigation. Preliminary investigation is not really a comprehensive investigation. You just need to check with other teachers. Okay, let's say you having problem in this, you ask your friend, do you having this problem? Is the problem still relevant? Is the thing you having it? You just need to WhatsApp your friends asking whether they are actually face the same problems that you face in teaching and learning. You conduct. Or if you want it to be something like really comprehensive, you might be need to throw a survey about 20 to 20 teachers going to answer the survey. Because if you have a survey or you collect it through interviews in your preliminary investigation, you might be able to publish your first paper related to your research in your study. Okay, let us move. Identifying a research gap. What you need to do is that the research gap is a question. It's a question and problem which has not been addressed properly. And has not been addressed properly, sometimes it depends on the context of your study. It might be, as I did mention, the computer literacy has been addressed properly by many research. However, in certain country, in certain level of students or in a certain level of teacher, or might be among special education teacher, has not been explored yet. So it's relevant and go for it. You should examine the part in which include introduction sections, the reason why that research is done, the conclusion, the suggestion for future. So where to get this research gap? When you read a paper, you read the introduction section. You read the reason why the research is done. You read the conclusion, the conclusion section. And you read also the suggestion for future research. So how to find a research problem, how to find a research gap? If you already have few articles, read the suggestion for future research. Read their research limitation. When you read their research limitation, then identify the research gap in the area. It's so easy, isn't it? Now you know it's so easy to find a research problem. Read other people limitation and suggestion for future research section in the article. read the suggestion for future research of any previous PhD research. Then you get the research gap, isn't it? Without doing the critical analysis. Okay? So area which lacks of investigation or need closer examination. So I already give you the hint to get the research gap by reading other people articles or other people PhD thesis. At the end of the article, they say limitation of this research. Yeah? That's going to be your research gap. That's going to be that you would like to explore. Okay. It's so easy. You do not need to do a meta-analysis. You do not need to do a very comprehensive analysis. And for those who are doing a master project, that's what you're going to do. Read at the end of other people's articles. The current one that have been published might be 2019, 2020. If you read an article that have been published in 2000, might be the limitation of a study has been tackled by the other researcher. Okay? That's what you need to do. Okay. So, I'm open for question and answers. I already talked almost 40 minutes. Okay? Anyone would like to ask question? Anyone? It's a PG camp, everybody. I need questions.
Hi, Prof.
Yes, okay. Thank you. Okay. Okay. One minute. Okay, yeah.
I just want to ask how to know if our topic is relevant to our current situation, and is it necessary for our topic to be like evergreen topic?
Oh, okay. You are doing what? You are doing what, Wani? You are doing master's project, master's dissertation or PhD?
Coming soon, master dissertation.
Master
But
dissertation.
I'm in my first semester now, Prof.
Okay. Who's your supervisor?
Not yet, Prof.
Oh, not
just first semester, first
Not
semester.
yet. Okay. Okay, Wani, if you are doing a master dissertation, okay, you do not need to make sure that your topic is evergreen. Don't ever think that. Okay. If you're doing a master dissertation, as long as the research is actually, you can explore it, as long as still important nowadays, has been taught a lot has been discussed a lot by the psychologists, then you can concentrate on it. And you do not need to make sure that the topic is, nobody explore it yet. Oh, don't ever do that, Wani. You're not going to finish your dissertation. Okay? You just might be, for example, are you teacher?
Yes, Prof.
What subject, what level that you teach? School?
School, secondary students.
Secondary school student. Okay, I give you one topic. This is, or any idea. Okay, any idea that you would like to continue for your secondary school students. You teach what subject?
ICT.
ICT. Okay. ICT. Teaching an ICT subject for secondary school student. Do you face a challenge nowadays, especially during COVID-19?
Yes.
Yeah. So you might be can start a topic, something like using YouTube, using an interactive YouTube, what I call it, materials, in teaching ICT subject among secondary school student. So what you need to do is that ICT, if you teach something like basic programming, there are so many YouTube videos teaching about C++ and everything. But what you need to do is that you create one channel. That channel, you sort the very relevant and interesting YouTube video that you can use in your teaching, isn't it? So you design the flow of your experiment, but the existing material has been developed very well by other people, isn't it? The one that you will have to check is that whether by arranging the video from the YouTube properly according to the topic of ICT that you teach among your school, then you produce a learning activities to reflect the YouTube video. You can do your master dissertation. Now you have a topic. Everybody, don't chip in the topic. The topic is belong to Wani. I give the topic to Wani.
That's mine. Don't take it from me.
Now you get
Thank
it.
you, doctor.
You get it. You just explore it. Okay. Somebody
Thank you, Prof.
asked here. Okay, yeah, welcome. Somebody asked here. I'd like have to close the participant screen because I would like to expand the chat. Let's see. Okay, so somebody Azam is asking that. Okay, I translate what Azam asked. He said that he want to do a if we want to do a research, we have to find problems that have solution. Okay, yes. If the problems cannot be solved, as examples, he did mention problems on internet access, on student gadget, and everything. Yes, Azam, don't do a research that you cannot control the solution. For example, if you're doing a research related to the internet line, okay, the internet lines, don't do that research on it because you cannot solve it. You cannot solve the world problem. Okay, remember, doing a master research, PG research, you are not solving the world problem. You are just practicing the systematic way of doing research. Remember also PhD holder, PhD students, when you do a research, you're not going to solve the world problem. You are just experimenting your solutions or your techniques, anything, just to tackle, to come up with a new knowledge on it. That's PhD. So if the problem is related to the internet line, Azam, don't focus on it. But however, it gives you opportunity to exploit. Azam, I give you one topic that you can concentrate for your master's or master's or PhD. You know that at the school student right now having problems on internet line. I'm worried a lot as an educator, although I'm not a teacher. I'm educators at the higher ed. I'm worried a lot what happened now at the school levels in Malaysia. The drop up of students, the numbers of drop up students at schools is going to be increased. Is going to be increased. So it makes me worried a lot. And because of the internet line there's no internet line in certain places in Malaysia. There's internet line quite slow. It's also due to because of their parents did not actually have subscribed to any internet providers and so on because it incurred money. So what you can do is that go for the low technology. Prepare teaching and learning modules that you pass it to the students. And don't use the technology in terms of the internet line. If you like to solve the problem that you face among your student, you might be prefer an interactive learning module that you post it to the student using our service lah. You post it to the student, then they're going to solve the problem at home, and it's going to be what we call it learning from home. You are preparing a learning from home materials that suit with the situation of the internet line is off. That's very interesting topic to explore. How to do it? What's the learning activities looks like? Okay? How to make sure the student engage in the learning because you are not there. But you send all the learning materials to the student through our postal services and everything, not through internet. So that is going to be a very interesting topic to explore, Azam. Okay. What else? Aziza asking that when formulate a research problem from primary study, is it necessary the sample size? Oh my God, Aziza, don't ever do that. Your sample size to be 200 plus per respondent. It can be 10 respondent, Aziza. If you do your primary study, just to reconfirm your topic or your problem, you can conduct it among 10 respondents. If you do it up to 200 respondents, that's already another master research, Aziza. 10 respondents is quite enough. Even 8 respondents is quite enough. Don't do that among 200 respondents.
Textbook.
Okay.
Because most of teachers doesn't use textbook at school, and when we are teaching from home, even we use other extensive materials such as workbooks to assist children's learning. And my research problem is that I'm thinking that how can I use textbook as essential teaching materials, not only for teachers at school, but also for the parents at home.
Okay.
Because nowadays parents leave textbook and they use other additional material to teach children. So
Okay.
I want to take back the textbook with some emergence from AR, augmented reality, if it's possible, to take back children's interest to refer textbook as their learning resources.
Okay.
So yeah.
It's a very interesting topic. And you can do that. I think the research. Now, your questions or you just a sharing?
I'm thinking what kind of statement can I use to create the research problem from that situation?
Okay, so
Yeah.
this is where
Thank you.
this is where you can see that you are using opportunities, the existing opportunities based on your experience as a teacher. You are
Yes.
correct. You are correct. Textbook is meant to be for the teacher and student. Okay,
Yes.
but sometimes it's not enough. The activities in textbook sometimes is not enough. It's not engaging enough. It's
Yes.
not actually trigger student thinking. Okay, so what you can do is that now you would like to add the involvement of parents in it, isn't it? So what you can do is that you can design a textbook learning activities that have what we call it holistic component. What is holistic? Holistic is something that the textbook activities, what you can do is that in the textbook activities, you have to give a role to the student. For example, you can get an activity, you can design an activity saying that, okay, this activity required you to put your name here. Then the student put a name. Okay, and then the next step, now you need to ask your parents. Can you see that? Now you need to ask your parents what are the things that your parents bought yesterday for might be groceries and anything. If you teach mathematics, then the student have and then you prepare a sheet. You prepare a sheet in your learning activities where the student have to ask the parents on Monday what kind of grocery that the parents or the mom bought and everything. And using that one, then you continue the third step. The student can actually calculate the cost of might be buying the groceries or might be anything. So this is where you try to put it in holistic situations and try to involve the community of learning other than teachers and students into the learning activities.
Okay, doctor. Sorry. Do I have to relate to current situation
Yes, if
for
you
the holistic approach in the textbook?
yeah, if you relate to the current situations, you know that the learning communities nowadays during COVID-19 is not only referring to teacher and student. Now learning community including their parents, their siblings, their kids, their sisters, their brothers, their neighbor, there is the learning community. Now to align with the learning activities that will engage them in learning, involve other learning community into the learning task. Can you see it?
Yeah. Thank you, doctor.
Okay, very interesting topic, Rabiatul. If you concentrate on it, it's a very interesting topic. For your mixed mode, don't just prepare a one textbook activities. Just prepare might be up to 2 or 3 task-based learning activities that involves their parents or anything, and that suitable for learning at home, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. And then you just test it and look into the learning process. It's quite enough for master mixed mode. Don't ever to think to create up to 10 activities. 3 to
Okay.
4 is quite enough because you are doing your dissertation, isn't it?
Yeah.
Eh?
Okay. Thank you, doctor.
Okay, that's good. Okay, I continue some questions from the chat saying that, okay, where Zaidah done, I already answered Zaidah. can I conduct a research related to big data? Yeah, you can, Zulkarnain, but if you would like to conduct the research related to big data among teachers, maybe you can check on teacher readiness on using big data in deciding their teaching and learning technique. Just through a survey, just through a survey related to teacher knowledge on big data, throw it among teachers at certain school, then you get a framework on the level of knowledge of teachers towards big data. Not everybody knows about big data. Not everybody knows about big data, and knowing about big data is one of the digital literacy nowadays. So Zulkarnain, you can start to explore digital literacy. There are so many survey on digital literacy. One of it is on big data. So you might need to check on, to be a future ready teachers, they need to have a digital literacy, they need to know about big data. But we do not know in Malaysia what are the level of knowledge of big data in teaching and learning, in the context of teaching and learning among our teachers. So through a survey, done, you have your master project. That topic belong to Zulkarnain. Okay. Azam says that, do I need to prepare a hard copy? Tetapi lebih menarik, sediakan, what do you mean? Sediakan hard copy maksud doktor, tetapi lebih menarik minat. Yeah, you're preparing a hard copy of learning materials because you know that the student cannot get an internet line. But what you need to do is that the activities that you design that really is going to attract student attention towards learning. The designing of learning activity is very challenging. And later on lah, I can ask Dr. Fendi if all of you need a session on how to design learning activities. I used to design learning activities that integrate or embedded learning theories into it and technology into it. So if you are interested on that topic, maybe Dr. Fendi later on, we can add that. Okay, Azam, yes, that is what the learning that you design must be interesting. Okay, nowadays many schools using Google Drive to keep student data or so on. Yes, Zulkarnain, Google Drive, but then might be as a simple master project, you would like to know that what are the patterns of usage of Google Drive among schools on collecting student data. Yeah, you can throw a survey on they use the Google Drive especially on student data to collect student data. Do they analyze the student data or did they just collect it? Okay, that's what you need to explore. Okay, next, Tawa says that, can you do a research topics related to the workload of online learnings? Yeah, you can do that. You can do that because it's part of your assumption. Tawa Parati, you might be says that based on my assumption, learning through online increase the workload. Yes, although it looks like negative, but you would like to explore it. And then you start to Google it, type it, stress through online learning, workload on online learning, and then you find an articles. You actually will find some articles that discuss on it, and in the article also might be they have a solution on it. You try to you would like to identify the workload, yes, and the workload can be on cognitive workload, physical workload. Yeah, that is related to theory, because when you talk about workload, it's related to mental load. It's related to the cognitive load, and there is a cognitive load theory. Tawa, there is what you call it cognitive load theory. There is a theory on mental load, and there is a dimension about measuring the mental load and how to reduce it. How to reduce mental load when you design your instruction. A very beautiful topic, Tawa. Go ahead. Okay, Esther, asking that how self-efficacy affects teacher social presence and effectiveness of emergency remote teaching. That's a very interesting topic to explore, Esther. You can actually focus for your master talk course. Yes, self-efficacy affect teacher social presence. Social presence, there are established instruments to measure social presence. You can use that instrument. You find a self-efficacy instrument survey. There are so many and self-efficacy also have a theory behind it. You can focus on it. Social presence is related to CQI, community community inquiry, community of inquiry theory by Garrison. Dr. Fendi is really expert in COI theories. Mawada asking that as a Quranic home tutor, I find it challenging to relate technology and Quranic lesson for my research advice, Prof. Okay, Quranic lesson and technology, if you would like to integrate technology and Quranic lesson, what you can do is that Mawada, you might you might be use a simple technology application like sound recorder as a tool for the students to record their Quranic lesson. If they read one ayat, a Quranic ayat, Quran ayat, then they might be need to record it using sound recorder or using their handphone, and they send it to you. Then you record it and to give a comment, and you might be read the ayat again with all the hukum and tajweed and everything. Then you give back to the student to respond it. Don't develop it from scratch, Mawada. Because you are taught course of mixed mode student, if I'm not mistaken. And you need to use the existing tool. There are so many Quranic lesson tools out there free that you can use, Mawada. Don't develop it from scratch. If you develop it from scratch, might be it's not up to the ones that free that we have in our handphone or in our notebook. Prof, Taufik asking, let's have a session of the later on. You suggest it to Dr. Narafendi. Adaptation of social media in teaching and learning still a relevant? Yes. Social media in teaching and learning is still relevant topics, not been explored yet at school level. In university level also is not, has been done by many researchers, but there's so many new angles that you can concentrate. Bong Yilin. Karunisa asking about, I'm doing a research on the effects of split classroom on primary school students' English speaking performance. For another research question, I'm considering to explore more on the relationship with 21st century skills. Is it too much? You're doing what, Karunisa? Are you master talk course? Are you master PhD? Okay.
Yes.
You already use your split classroom in primary student
Yes,
English
I did
speaking
it for my
performance.
master.
You have once that one on performance. Now you want to exploit on relationship with 21st century skill. Yeah, you can do that. It's not too much. For me, it's not too much. It's doable. It's doable and relevant nowadays. Okay.
So is so it's still relevant, right? Because from my reading, there's not so many that touches on primary students. Most of them are in secondary or higher learning institutions, right?
Yeah, but that show you that there is a research gap on it. Not so many focusing on primary. There is
Yes.
one you need to exploit. But when you
Yeah.
refer to the literature review, you can refer to the secondary level and higher ed level
Okay.
in your chapter 2. But then because of not so many has been explored at primary level, then you have a very great opportunity to exploit.
Okay, sure.
Okay. So Siti Norazina says that, Doctor, I would like to solve student problem, low level student, murid berprestasi rendah in learning additional mathematics using GeoGebra, but I'm not sure how to execute it. Siti Norazina, can I know that you are focusing on your master talk course, master mixed mode, or master research or PhD?
Master mixed mode, Doctor.
Okay, master mixed mode. So if you are using GeoGebra among the slow learners in additional maths, what you can do is that first you might going to check on their performance after they go through GeoGebra. The second one, you might going to check on how do they use GeoGebra in their study, okay? Or not or you might be going to explore on how you might be want to focus on the learning materials that suitable for slow learner student in learning additional mathematics through GeoGebra. That's going to be your research topic. And one thing to all of you who actually know me very well, usually I only speak once. I cannot repeat. Azina, I cannot repeat, but I already recorded it. But you can see. So you might be going to focus on how to design the learning activities of learning additional mathematics topic. Select one topic, small topic in additional mathematics. Select that small topic and then design the learning activities that integrate GeoGebra, okay, for slow learner student. And knowing about slow learner, there is a theory about it. There's a theory about special students, student with difficulty. There are theory about it and how to inject inside your learning modules or learning tasks. You can concentrate on that, checking their performance, checking their motivation, because the low learner students, they have very low level of motivation. That's the reason why they are not doing very well in additional mathematics. And one thing that we have to remember is in learning, if a student have high motivation in learning the topic, there will be they're going to score very well in the test and so on. If they have a low level of motivation, that's the main reason why they have been categorized as a slow learner. Okay, master project by Noliza saying that, can I do a research on online learning impact to my students of Training Institute of Ministers of Hacks as we now transform? Yes, you can do that, Noliza, because when you do a research in edutech, it's not only focusing on teaching and learning at schools, at higher ed, at university. It also can be at Training Institute, because teaching and learning is everywhere. It's everywhere. Training Institute, kindergartens, among informal WhatsApp groups. Learning can happen also through informal WhatsApp groups in your community. So you can do that, Noliza. It's very interesting topic, because now the Training Institute of Minister of Health, they have been transformed from face-to-face to online learning. There must be a very big challenges faced by the institution, faced by the instructor, faced by the trainee, isn't it? So this is where you can check it. Okay. So can I continue it? I stop answering. I think that's all the questions that in the chat. Let me continue my slide. Okay. So that we can actually learn more about how to identify research problem. Okay, so this is identifying the research gap. Okay, next is methods in identifying the research gap. There are so many methods. Citation analysis. How do you do a citation analysis? Citation analysis is very interesting technique. What you can do is that you can actually identify how many the article receive how many citation. What are the numbers of citation of that article? If the article receives so high citation numbers, and if the article still have been cited by the current researcher till 2020, meaning that the research problem is still relevant. Okay. The next one is critical analysis. Critical analysis is comparing. You have to read critically the articles. You do your mappings on it, and then you try to find which gaps that has not been explored yet. I will show you. I will give you also the templates of doing critical analysis. Okay. Meta-analysis. Meta-analysis is quite high. Don't ever claim you are doing meta-analysis for master talk course, master dissertation, master research. Even people are doing PhD also afraid to claim that they are doing a meta-analysis. Meta-analysis is very comprehensive. It involves, and the one that we mentioned, I'm not sure, I'm not remember who put in the chat that if I think Aziza did put it that if I'm going to do a preliminary investigation involve 200 students, that's too much, Aziza. Same goes to meta-analysis. Meta-analysis usually it will involve up to 30, 40, 50 articles. Then you analyze it statistically using statistical analysis. Very comprehensive method. Even a PhD also did not do a meta-analysis. PhD do up to critical analysis. Meta-analysis usually done by a PhD holder, by professors. professors that prominent in certain area, they are doing a meta-analysis comprehensively. And doing a meta-analysis paper, you're able to penetrate Q1 journals easily. But doing a critical analysis also you're able to penetrate journals like Scopus journals and other journals. The fourth one is systematic review, not systematic literature review. It's just a systematic reviews. Systematic literature review is another techniques that can be done as one of the research method for PhD, not for master top course, not for master dissertation, and not for master full research because it's too much. Systematic literature review. But systematic review is so simple. And also through the future research and limitation, as I did mention to you, to find a research gap, focus on the future research and limitation of any articles. Then you get an idea. Okay, this is the conceptual models of the research gap. They've been explained through the previous slide. Okay, you do this either one. Don't do more than one thing. Do either one of it. I suggest for master, top course, dissertation, do a future research and limitation technique or up to systematic review. For a master full research and PhD, yes, you need to do a critical analysis. Citation analysis, master top course, yes, you can do that. You can use citation analysis to identify gap and the problem identification. Okay, let us know what is critical analysis. I'm going to explain what is critical analysis. It's your critical evaluation of an argument on the works, and it's a subjective form of observation and evaluation. Okay, and generally speaking, critical analysis helps us understanding things better. You need to do a critical analysis. You need to have critical reading and critical writing. Not just read an article. I believe I face it also when I did my PhD. You might also now face a situation where you read one article, you read 5 pages of article, at the end of the article you say that, what do I get from this article? Nothing. Okay? Yeah. Okay, if you face this kind of situation, you are not doing critical reading. Critical reading is related to also speed reading also. I did not read the whole article. I only read the whole articles if the article focusing on really related to my research area. Yes, I will make the article as my my main reference. But if the articles is just slightly help me in making the justification why I concentrate on my research, then I just might be going to read the abstract and the finding. Other part, I'm not going to read it. Okay? That's why you have to be smart on it. So there has a critical reading and critical writing. Okay. Critical analysis of articles, this is how you do it. First, you look at the articles, what is the objective of the research? Read that. Go zoom in into it. What is the objective of the research? To speed up the process, if the article is soft copy, just find it, the word of objective, isn't it? Now, page 2, mention the objective of the research. Highlight it. Clarify the method used in the collection of information. So, after you read the objective, read the methods. Okay? Google, find it again, methods. Then you can see that these articles is doing experimental research design or methods. State the sample use. Go to sample. After find the objective, go to the methods, go to the sample and the scope of the research. Then go to the finding. And what are your arguments about the research? Does the research has been conducted among at which level? So this is the point that you need to put in your critical analysis table. The objective of the research, the method, the samples, the finding. When you put it in a table, then you try to argue the research. The research is really a complete research. The research missed some of the information. So you have another column, your comment on the articles. Then you start to comment on it. If your comment is going to be consistent throughout 10 articles, Then that's going to be your research scope or research problem that you would like to tackle. And how does this research relate with your research, the one that you would like to do? Okay. So this is a table of critical analysis or concept matrix. You have concept 1, concept 2. This concept is the one that this one. Concept 1 is actually objective. This one is going to be objective for the research. This one will be the methods. This one is going to be the findings, samples, finding, and other concept that you would like to do. So you can actually add more columns if you want. Source 1, source 2, source 3 is the article. Article 1, article 2, article 3, and arrange it according to the year of publication. Might be started with the current year and go down. And then you might be need to add another column for critique on the articles. And the critique is going to be related to your research gap. I repeat, concept 1, concept 2, concept 3 is the thing that you look at the article. So, for example, this is going to be objective, methods, samples, and finding. And source 1, source 2, source 3 is the article. And the articles that you read. So use this table to find your research gap and research problem, and put this table also in your chapter 2. That's why actually when you prepare your research proposal, you have to prepare your chapter 2 first. And don't prepare your chapter 1. Prepare your chapter 2 first. And then the summary of chapter 2 will be your chapter 1. And then you proceed for your chapter 3. Okay? And literature search and selection, this is a database that you can actually search the articles. Then you mention it in your chapter 2, how many articles that you search from each database or each journal. You identify might be 24 articles from these journals, but you select only 4. By having this kind of table in your chapter 2, this shows how critical are you in selecting and searching documents. This one is for PhD. For those who doing master talk course, master dissertation, you do not need to prepare this. But if you would like to publish your critical analysis in any journals, you have to prepare this table. And this is going to be what you call it the methods for sample selection. The sample that you select is article. If you would like to publish a critical analysis, academic articles, critical analysis articles, one of it you have to mention, you have to discuss the method on how do you select your articles. Remember in the research that related, in the research that involve people, you have to mention on sampling techniques to select the respondent. But to do a critical analysis article to publish in a journal, you need to explain also how you select the articles. And your article is your sample. And provide this table is one of the methods that identify articles, meaning that your population of the article is 198, but the sample of articles that you use is 40. And you are using the purposive sampling techniques of articles. There must be a reason why you select these 4 articles instead of the rest of the articles. Okay. Then critical readings, another thing. Critical readings is good. You need to know about critical readings. And critical reading is about you interact the text that you're reading. You are interacting with the text that you're reading. You read the text as a judge of the text scholarly value, and you read the text as an insightful members of the academic community. You are academic committee. When you enroll into a PG program, you are already in an academic community. So we respect to the other school of thought. Okay, remember, you have your school of thought. The one who wrote the article also have a school of thought. So that's why you have to be open a little bit. Okay. If the school of thought or the article is totally different with your school of thought, it's okay, just read it. So that you just get ready on the differences of opinion on certain factors. Okay? How to read the text? This is how the text were the author interpret and conclude a conclusion supported by the evidence. Was there any apparent bias? Some articles they wrote it in a biased way. Okay, not all articles is good, unless the article published in Q1 journal, really Q1 journal. Yes, because have been reviewed by a prominent reviewer. Were there other ways that specific data could be interpreted other than how the author appreciate? So this is how you read it critically. Were there any important variables that were left out of the study? Because if they left the study, so you might be want to focus on that in your research for master course and master dissertation. Was every assertion supported by facts? Did the text use reliable resources? This is how you do a critical reading. Reading an article for literature review, these other techniques are showing what question problems the author addressing, what are the key concepts, what are the key theories, what are the result and conclusion, how does the publication relate to other literature, how does the publication contribute, what are the strengths and weaknesses of research. The weaknesses of the research is going to be the gap that you will explore in your research. Okay. And talking about systematic review and literature review, this is the references and the sum of the similarities of it on that you can actually look into it. Okay. And you can go to this YouTube later on to learn about systematic literature review. It's very interesting view explaining on it. Okay, a little bit I touch about meta-analysis. Is a quantitative evidence, and you use a statistical methods to combine the result of various independent and similar studies. If you do a meta-analysis, you are not just producing the critical analysis table or matrix. You need to run it. Meta-analysis will involve statistical method, and I suggest for PhD level, don't use a meta-analysis to find a research problem. But you can use a meta-analysis as a method of your research, PhD research. You can use a meta-analysis as part of your PhD research method to tackle might be one or two of your research question. But if you just would like to identify research gap or research problem, do a critical analysis, because meta-analysis is very comprehensive. It's very rigorous. Last time also I have a misconception also about meta-analysis. I used to advise my PhD student to do a meta-analysis. Nowadays, no longer. I suggest my student to do a critical analysis, because meta-analysis is very comprehensive. Because if you did not use any statistical methods to wrap up your review of literature, meaning that you are not doing up to the meta-analysis. Okay, you are just doing the critical analysis. Okay, these are some of the meta-analysis concept you would like to explore more. Okay. And the frameworks that you can do, and because can you see it? Doing a meta-analysis, you have a proper framework of it. Why do I share this? That might be after you graduated from master degree or PhD, you plan to produce your research finding, or you would like to produce your literature review, your critical analysis as a paper in any quartile journals or Scopus journal. So if you plan to do that, you need a proper framework. Can you see this framework is just like a research procedure, a complete PhD research procedure framework? Yes, it's very comprehensive. This is if you plan to do a meta-analysis. Okay, and research in educational technology, usually you can focus on design-based research. Design can be you design a technology learning materials, you design the learning activities, you design the assessment, you design a module, you design a website, you design your mobile apps. You can design anything. Even you design a procedure also in using YouTube. In learning mathematics, it can do research in educational technology. If you did not not focus on design-based research. For master top course, you can concentrate on design-based research only. But after that, you might have one small research question to test the material that you design. Or you might be more like to focus on evaluation research. Evaluation research is just, you did not design anything. You use the existing learning materials that out there, that from YouTube or what. You would like to evaluate the existing learning materials. Then you are focusing on evaluation research. And education research. Education research is just a survey research. You're conducting a survey research just to explore the situations of teaching and learning related to technology, perception, motivation. That's going to be an education research. Okay? Anything is doable at every level. It's doable at master top course, it's doable at mixed mode, doable at master full research, doable at PhD research. That's why can you notice that if you ask me question, I will ask you back. You enroll into master top course, master dissertation, master full research, or PhD, because it will actually assist me to answer your question. Okay, so the impacts of educational technology on student learning, you can focus seeing whether it impact on the learning outcome or it impact on the learning process. Nowadays, most research are looking at impact of technology in the learning process. If you are focusing on the learning process, you might be going to focus on the variables of student ways of learning, student learning behavior, student thinking, student what else? Student solution, problem solving, solution, anything. But if you focus on the product, it can be performance, it can be motivation, it can be critical thinking, it can be creative thinking. That one is going to focus on the learning outcome. Okay. And this is a literature review on the impacts of digital technology on learning and teaching. This is one paper. I read this paper from 217 articles have been reviewed. It shows that numbers of study on raising attainment is still quite high. 48 are focusing on reducing inequality between children related to educational technology. 9, Rabiatul, you are looking at the involvement of parents in the textbook activities. Can you see that 9 of study from these critical articles saying that enhancing parental engagement. So what you can do, Rabiatul, is that you try to explore parental engagement in learning activities of the student. Believe me, engagement has a standalone theories on engagement. Okay, so this is the table. This is an example of meta-analysis where you did not do it in your PhD. You are doing a critical. Can you see that it start to look at the study of effects of the research in the general in the discipline, a different discipline, numbers of study, and the impact. Okay, and summarize it. It summarizes it as part of the things that you can exploit in the future. Okay, so you can summarize it. You can this research. You can summarize it. You can see that it summarizes it to the one that whether it's conclusive, indicative. This article is very good. To explore on the research problem. Okay, let's move to the bombs as I did mention. We on the topics I explore because of this COVID-19 situation. Okay, this is what you should explore. Can you see that? If everybody take one of the topic here, you can actually do your research, master project, dissertation, master research, and PhD. I predict there's a trend of research in learning and teaching, the new normal, where you can focus on the innovative pedagogies like heterogogy, cybergogy, and pedagogy. You can focusing on the alternative assessment in teaching and learning. You can focusing on the curriculum, the unstructured, the integrated, and you can focusing also on 21st century learners. You can throw a survey on whether our Malaysian student is actually ready yet to be a 21st century learners, because there are so many survey or questionnaire on measuring the readiness of students as a 21st century learners. You can focus on the learning outcome of motivation, formation, perception, emotion. Emotion closely related to the COVID-19 situation nowadays. Attitude and so on. You can also focusing on the technology, using the online meetings, screencasting, file sharing, video editing, online resources, LMS, everything. You also can explore the learning community, the involvement of learning community in online learning. During COVID-19, the online peers, the student, the family, the online society. How do we define online society in the Malaysian context? Can be one of the master talk course project. Okay, you can focusing on delivering blended learning, the homeschooling, the emergency remote learning and teaching, the virtual classroom, the synchronous. And you can concentrate on that. There's so many potential topics that you should focus on. Because on the learning process, the online reflective thinking, the online learning behavior, the online thinking process, online problem solving process, all of this, they have a specific methods to measure it. Just Google it. You can have the information. Okay? Okay, I give one project. This is have been I just create this for anyone who still did not have any topics. Free to anyone who would like to focus on it. For example, master project, you would like to investigate the motivation and teaching style of primary school teacher during pandemic situation. You might be need to focus on, there are so many theory on motivation. One, you can take your motivation because you want to focus on the involvement of teachers, so the participation theory is close to it. The learning process, you can go to cognitive learning theory. The learning process is the teaching style and everything. Instrument can be a survey. And the resources, if you Google it, there are 2 articles that published in 2020. One is from Indonesia, another one is in Malaysia, looking at the perception of primary school teacher of online learning during COVID-19 pandemics. The instrument is already in these articles if you would like to use it in the context of Malaysia. And this is another one, the initial report saying motivation and well-being during COVID-19 from the perspective of university students and lecturers. You can actually explore in it. Okay? And another 4 topics, the potential topic that I give it free to everybody. I just produce it within 50 minutes that we have a break between Dr. Shafi'i and my session. Teaching and learning mathematics of Form 2 students through WhatsApp. You can do that. Using Padlet in learning teaching science Form 4 and its effect on student performance. Master talk course can concentrate on it. Even PhD also can concentrate on it, but you have to expand the research scopes and might be add to one more variables on it. Design and developing a synchronous online learning activities through WhatsApp and its impact on student learning. Concentrate on that. Student interaction patterns through WhatsApp learning science. And you can just easily change it here. Student interaction patterns through Mentimeter in learning science. Student interaction patterns through WebEx in learning science. Okay, so easy. And student interaction patterns through Zoom in learning mathematics, learning English, anything. You can add if you want. Okay, so if I'm going to end session, members, have enough sleep, do exercise, and have a balanced diet. And remember, your plan is this small plan, but in reality, there are so many challenges. Some of you, the dilemma, how do I know my research problem is okay? I can see it. Okay, Lack of critical thinking, reading, writing, sometimes change of some policies and focus on MOE and MOHI. This is also a challenge to us. Last time we have what? Frog, VLE. Now we no longer have frog, VLE. So how do you actually manage the changes? Confused. The more you read, the more you get confused. Okay. Yes. Confusion is good. When you get confused, that's the hint that might be next week you will get your research topic. Believe me. Trust me. If you're still confused right now, it's okay. Keep reading it. Next week you will get your research topic. Where to start? Some people say that, where to start? I did not know where to start. Problem to curl. Till now. Already in third semester, did not know what are the research problem to tackle. Okay, you can set you can set later on. If you need help, just feel free to contact us. We can give you advice and try to help you in identifying your research problem. If you can discuss with your supervisor also, but if you need help, extra helps, we are willing to give the helps to all. In conclusion, just read and read. Remember, just read and read. Start with your broad ideas and end up with a specific idea later. Be creative, be bold, be happy, and be passionate. That's my actually advice to everybody. Read. Start with your broad ideas and end it with specific ideas. Be creative, be bold, be happy, and be passionate. And don't worry a lot on your research. Worry is good, but don't worry a lot. Okay, let me open some question. We have another 15 minutes to go. If you have any questions. Good morning. What else? So many challenges, Prof. Yeah, so many challenges. That's why doing research is so interesting. Let me say at the chat questions. Okay. What else? Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay. Is there any questions? I see the chat. I already answered the question. Oh, this one. Is it possible to do a master project research about how social media affects student concentrations to learning? Okay. And where is it? Okay. And its impact toward the development of 21st century teaching and learning process. Okay. Social media affects student concentrations to learning. Okay. This is kind of negative assumption on it. Okay. So if you look into it as part of your research problem, you can, however, try to add on how to tackle it. I still remember when I did a master degree. Okay, I think I did my master degree 22 years ago. Okay, the problems among educators is that we are not creative enough in designing the learning activities. We used to design the learning activities, or you used to design our PowerPoint slide according to what we want. We not always considering learners in designing our PowerPoint slide. That's really a challenge to the educators. So why do I mention this is that social media really attracts students to concentrate on it. Even there are so many students crazy about social media. That's why, for me, as an educational technologist, if a student really loves social media, why not I'm using social media in teaching and learning? I bring the student concentration towards social media, not to socialize, but towards teaching and learning. I suggest you to look at the positive way of it. Don't look at the negative part of it. Because if you concentrate on social media affects student concentration without tackling the issue on how to design the learning activities through social media that attract student attention, you might be later on having difficulty to find the existing resources related to educational technology and social media that concentrate on the problem. Social media affecting student concentration research, there are so many on it, but not related to educational technology journal, but related to more on more on problems related to values, social per se, not focusing on teaching and learning comprehensively. That's my suggestion on. If you still would like to focus on it, try to tackle it on how do you design the instruction that will increase student concentration in learning. Okay. What else questions here? Okay. Very informative. Okay. Our program coordinator is with us today. Yeah. Okay. So, is there any questions more that you would like to get some clarification? Remember. Okay. The first thing that I did tell you that you have to love your research. How to find your research problem? Okay, easy way is that do a citation analysis or read other articles, the recommendation for future research or limitation of their study. From that, you can get your topic for master project. Even from there also, you can get your research topic for PhD. Believe me. And first of all, and last but not least, always be positive. Always be positive. Pray a lot to God. Pray a lot to Allah for Muslim that Allah will ease you in everything that you do. And always seek for supervisor prayer. Always say to the supervisor, Prof, please pray for me so that I will finish my study on time. Prof, please pray for me so that my research problem is easy to be handled and so on. Okay? So I think that's all from me. Okay? If there is no other questions, I think Dr. Fendi, I'm done with 12:38. We have another 5 minutes to go, 7 minutes to go. If you have questions, opinions, I hope I already motivate you enough to stay in your research and concentrate on it. There's no things impossible to do. Everything is possible. But you need to talk with people. If you need a special session with Dr. Fendi or me, you can actually request. We willing to help you, although you are not under our supervision. Because I'm the dean of the faculty. Dr. Fendi is associate professor in educational technology. Is our responsibility, Dr. Fendi, to make sure that everybody success in their study, regardless of you who supervise you. Okay? Okay, I think that's all, Dr. Fendi. Any question more from the floor? After this, you can cook for your lunch. I also have to cook for my lunch after this. Okay. Any more questions? So far, so good. Thank you very much for your time and for your question. I think that I answer all questions that you posted in chat or you watched out through the WebEx. Okay,
Prof, is it possible we can have photo session?
Oh yes, if they can